Hi, my name is Bylsma. I work at Kalamazoo Valley Community College as their production manager at the Food Innovation Center. Today we're going to talk about making a garden map. Garden maps are made for the future. They're reference documents for us to use in the next year or in future years as we look back on this year to help us remember. It's important as we're making a map to remember who our audience is. If our audience is just ourselves, if the map is made just for my own benefit, it only has to make sense to me. But if we want it to be used by other people, it's important to include information that they might find necessary and important. Some of the things we'll include in the map are where plants are located and how they did. For perennials, we want to note where they are. They might be slow to come up in the spring, so we want to be sure that we don't plant something on top of a perennial that is just delayed in coming up. We want to note where our annuals are as well, because we want to remember what did well. Do we want to plant that again there, or do we want to rotate it to a new place for nutrients or sun reasons? These maps are useful over a long period of time. We're talking about seasons and years, and so it's important to figure out how you're going to store it. I personally like to take pictures and email them to myself, because then I have an electronic record that I can't really lose. If you do that, make sure you include keywords that you can search for as well. Other people prefer pen and paper, and they'll create a garden journal that they keep for years on end. I've seen very extensive ones of these where people have whole file drawers devoted to previous year's gardens and what they've done with them. It's up to you and what would be useful to you. If too much detail's overwhelming, then that's not the way to go. We're going to do a quick walk through our kids' garden here where we're doing some seed saving, talking about different things that I might note in each bed. What I like to do when I'm doing a garden map is I take pictures from different perspectives so that when I'm sitting at my desk later, I can look back on them and find the details. So on this garden, I would take pictures from the four corners surrounding it. I would also come through and take a specific picture of this bed right here, because you can see we have a lot of different plants growing closely together, and a photo from outside the garden is not going to be able to capture all that detail. We have lemon balm, we have oregano, we have chives and rosemary, we have a little black-eyed Susan, the bellflower, we have milkweed, and we have some indigo there, just a tiny bit on the corner. And I won't be able to see that from a distance, nor will I remember all of this next April when I'm making my plan. And so a close-up picture is very helpful for that. On this bed over here, we have oregano, we have parsley, and we planted some cucumbers, but the cucumbers were eaten by deer this year. So while I'll note that they were here, from a crop rotation point of view, I'm going to effectively ignore that, because they never really had a chance to absorb a lot of nutrients, nor did they ever catch disease, because anytime leaves developed, they were eaten by the deer. The third bed I wanted to point out was where we grew our rice. We grew an upland wild rice, which is in one of our seed saving videos. This is the bed right here where you can see. What I'm going to note on the map is that we were late in getting to our harvest, and a lot of the rice seeds dropped to the ground. So next year it's possible that we're going to have a lot of rice growing here in this bed without us planting it there. So I want to factor that into my planning, that whatever I do will not be overwhelmed by rice. Also, I'm not going to count on the rice. This was my first year growing it, so I'm still learning on how it produces. Well, thanks for visiting. We're going to do another video doing some examples of other gardens using pictures and how you would draw a map to make notes. But yeah, hope you have a good rest of your day.